welcome to another episode of Music of the Week, and it's the best episode because it's episode 69. I'm so glad I was able to achieve this milestone in my life after nearly 9 years on YouTube, since I first posted my first video. This is what it's all about. So we have 5 albums to get through, and let's just do it. First we go to Methuen, Massachusetts for Cave In and their 7th album, Heavy Pendulum. Now, I'm not terribly familiar with this group, but they've been around for a long time. They're like a sort of like OG style, proggy, metalcore sort of act without all the boring bullshit that a lot of prog metalcore has a tendency to do. And this is their first album without any influence from their past bassist, Caleb Schofield, since he passed away a few years ago. It's their first with new bassist Nate Newton of Converge, and speaking of Converge, Kurt Ballou from Converge, their guitarist, produced this one. And this album, honestly, gets an A+. I loved every aspect of this album. I love that it felt like a really touching tribute to Caleb. Again, even though I didn't know much about the band, I thought it was really, really nice that they chose to focus on him, and as well as like modern things going on, like the depression and the sadness following things like the pandemic and some political stuff as well and things like that. Really solid performances from everyone. Their lead singer, whose name is here somewhere, Stephen Brodsky, really solid work from him, and his lead guitar work is fucking fierce. Love the structuring as well. It's one of the longest albums I've listened to all year. It's an hour and 10 minutes and 30 seconds. Really loved everything about it though. Not a moment is wasted. Just so much packed in. Everyone's fucking great. Everything about this is great. So you should definitely go listen to it. We then go to Brisbane, Australia for Semantics and their debut album Paint Me Blue. I don't know a lot about these guys. I think this was released through Side One Dummy, which is a pretty good indie punk style label, and that's sort of the style of the band. Really good sort of indie flavoured pop punk. And I'm beginning with this album a B. I did like a lot of the aspects of it. I think it does sort of come to a structuring thing because it did feel a bit weird with like... It went a bit unnecessarily heavy for me, and I get that's the point of like emo being worked in, but there were some parts of it I wish it were more consistent with that, you know? I wish it weren't just like so random, but I did like the charm on display. The band all come across quite nice, and they do again talk about really like modern and topical things. Very solid performances from everyone. I really couldn't find much on the names of the group, which kind of sucks, but I did like them. I thought everyone played off of each other really well. And yeah, just a really well put together bit of indie punk and a solid debut from a band from a country that I quite love. So there you go. Next we go to Los Angeles, California for Terror and their 8th album, Pain into Power. Now these are a band I am quite familiar with, unlike the previous two. I did listen to their last album, which was titled Give Me a Moment. It was called Total Retaliation. Now they did release like an album last year, which was just a compilation of old stuff, which almost did add to stuff to listen to, but then I realised it was just a compilation of old things. But yeah, if anyone knows about Terror, they're one of the best and oldest, schoolest hardcore punk bands going. Their style is typically called beatdown hardcore. Not difficult to see why. This album is the shortest they've ever put out, by the way. It's like 18.5 minutes. It's not terribly long, so I could listen to that like, I don't know, 4 times, 5 times, and it would still just be barely as long as Cave In's album. But I really liked what was on display. Really short, really punchy, really to the point. Solid lyrics as well, really good performances. Scott Vogel can still fucking go, and the dude's pushing 50. He's still got one of the best punk-style growls I've ever heard. Really great work from everybody involved, and I like the fact this is their first one with former guitarist Todd Jones, who not only produced the album, which came out in Pure Noise, so good shit there, but he was one of their guitarists like a long time ago, and he's back now, and there are 3 guitar bands, which fucking suits them. Really love the choices they made on this one. Yeah, it does only get a B for me, but it's still pretty solid. Next we go to Norwood, Ontario, Canada for 3 Days Grace and their 7th album, Explosions. This is their 4th with Matt Walsh, which I think means they've done more albums with him than they ever did with Adam now. Actually, no, it's their 3rd with him. They've done 4 with Adam. My mistake, I made a complete mistake there. Apologies. But yeah, I liked a lot of the aspects of this. I'm giving this one also a B. I think Matt is more coming into his own now. I think the rest of the band's still pretty great. Barry Stock is still a solid guitarist. I wish he got more solos, personally. This is more of a personal feeling album. It feels like something that 3 Days Grace usually does, though, in terms of lyrics as well. Like singing things about addiction, pain, abuse, things like that. What they've usually done, what they're known for. But it works for them, you know, it's a style that works for them, and Matt is coming into his own, I think. I am still a doubter. I still don't think he's quite as good as Adam, but it's kind of difficult to match that. But yeah, Matt's doing quite well. You know, his brother Brad's still a really good bassist, and Neil is still a pretty solid drummer. Nicely put together album, really good production with the band helping, with Howard Benson on hand as well. So yeah, just a lot of really good choices were made for this one. Nothing super special, but it's a solid 3 Days Grace album nonetheless. And finally we go to Kouvola, Finland for Thy Kingdom Will Burn, and their second album, The Void of the Vengeance. Their self-titled debut came out last year. I don't know why I did this with my body for that, but hey, it's the 69th episode, I can do weird shit, I can get away with it. And pretty solid old school feeling heavy metal, even though they're a very new band. A lot of them are from former bands or former members from bands in like the Finland metal scene. Solid metalcore, heavy metal sort of mix. Also giving this one a B. That's right, 4 Bs in a row. And really enjoyed a lot of the aspects of this. I thought the performance was really good. I really liked a lot of the instrumentation. The production was actually quite smooth for the most part. I do think it does struggle in terms of structuring though. There's only 9 songs that stretch out to nearly 45 minutes, and it could have been either added a couple of more songs to fill that time. Having said that, I do like a lot of the other aspects. Again, the production and instrumentals are great. I think the lyrics are a bit too gloomy-ish, but they still have their place. Obviously, it's just, you know, a little bit repetitive at times, but still works, still really, really good. And Finland is never let down when it comes to metal. So yeah, really solid stuff from a relatively new band. And that's it. That's the 69th episode all wrapped up and done. Nice. And I will see you, next thing I'll see you for tomorrow night. More Sunset Overdrive to stream. And it'll be nice to not do an actual video tomorrow and just stream. I can't stress how much I'm looking forward to that, because next week I'm going to be busy again with more videos. So yay. Anyway, I'll see you all tomorrow night, and that's about it. Oh, and Sunday, most likely for the night review. So yeah, keep an eye on my channel for that just in case. But yeah, that's about it. As always, thank you for watching. You're awesome. Bye bye.